Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something pretty ambitious, maybe even radical. Cloud Atlas OS.
Yeah, it's this platform aiming to, well, completely redefine how we think about decentralized coordination and how that connects to real-world impact.
And the claim is bold, right? That it offers a kind of legal lockpick for big systemic problems, but without, breaking any laws or getting partisan.
Exactly. So our mission today, for you listening, is to really get the core philosophy here. How can you spark major change if you're deliberately sticking within the established rules?
And the sources we looked at frame this whole problem with a really striking image.
The golden cage. That's central to understanding the why behind Cloud Atlas OS.
Okay, let's unpack this cage then. Why golden? And I guess, why cage?
Well, the argument is that modern society, especially industrial society, has built this invisible prison. It's golden because, look, it provides undeniable benefits, stability, infrastructure, a certain level of peace, right? Things we value.
Sure, predictability, order.
But it's a cage because it drastically limits what actions are considered legitimate. It sort of channels all human response into a very narrow set of pre-approved, legally permitted tools.
The sources use a pretty intense thought experiment to illustrate this, don't they?
They do. Imagine you witness something horrific, serious injury, violence, something truly awful. What are you as a citizen actually allowed to do under the current system?
Okay.
Well, the list of approved tools is, well, it's quite short. You can call 911.
Right.
You can hold up a sign, non-violently, of course.
Right.
Start a petition online, maybe start a crowdfunding campaign, organize a peaceful group meeting.
Yetsep.
That's basically the boundary of legally sanctioned response. Your own inherent ability to react directly is sort of nullified.
Okay, but I feel like I need to push back a little here.
Yeah.
Isn't this just the social contract? I mean, we give up our natural capacity to respond, which, let's be honest, includes violence, and in return, the state provides order and security. It gets a monopoly on legitimate force.
That's a fair point, and yes, that's the trade-off for the golden part. The stability is real.
Right.
But the key insight for understanding Cloud Atlas OS is the limitation aspect. The argument is the government maintains control precisely because citizens are limited to these often symbolic or bureaucratic actions, especially in a crisis. You can witness, but effective action is constrained.
So the cage keeps things stable, but also prevents effective citizen-led challenges to the status quo using those tools.
That's the core argument, yeah. The tools are designed to be insufficient when used in isolation.
Okay, so if Cloud Atlas OS is committed to operating inside this cage, using only these legal tools, how does it become a lockpick? Why isn't it just more noise? Bundling ineffective tools doesn't automatically make them effective, does it?
But the argument is the problem isn't the legality of the tools themselves, it's their fragmentation.
Fragmentation, explain that.
Think about it. Right now, if you want to start a petition, you go to one site, crowdfunding, another site, organizing a group, maybe Facebook, maybe Meetup, live streaming an event, Twitch or YouTube.
They're all scattered, disconnected.
Exactly. They're isolated signals. They lack coordination. They don't build on each other. There's no network effect across these actions. So institutions can, frankly, ignore them pretty easily. A petition here, a small fund there. It doesn't add up to real pressure.
Right, I see. So the aggregation hack is about pulling all that together.
Precisely. Cloud Atlas OS aims to hack the system not through illegality or violence, but through radical aggregation and complete visibility. It offers a single, unified interface.
One place for everything.
Yeah. Petitions, funding campaigns, community organizing tools, live streaming, even geolocation data. It's all integrated into one coordinated mission. It bundles that fragmented legal potential.
Okay, coordination makes sense. But for these missions to work, especially on complex issues, people need reliable information, right? A shared source of truth. Where does that come from?
Good question. That's where another piece comes in, the virtual encyclopedia. And this ties into preventing the platform itself from being captured or censored.
Virtual encyclopedia. What is that exactly?
Okay, so picture this. They've taken like 6 million Wikipedia articles and transformed them into these immersive, animated 3D objects.
Whoa.
And these aren't just sitting on a server somewhere. They're geolocated, mapped to the real world, and crucially, the whole thing is powered by BitTorrent technology.
BitTorrent. Why BitTorrent? That feels specific.
It's absolutely vital for decentralization. If all that core information, the factual basis for a mission, lived on one central server, it's vulnerable, right? A government, a corporation, whoever could shut it down, seize it, censor it.
Got it. Single point of failure.
Exactly. By using BitTorrent, the data itself is distributed across the network. It's decentralized, harder to censor, harder to take down. Truth-checking becomes this collaborative exploration within a verifiable distributed environment.
Okay, so you have the aggregated tools and a decentralized information base.
Hmm.
Now, how does this translate into actual impact, getting things done in the real world? You mentioned streaming.
Right, that brings us to Mission TV. This is designed to be the engine for visibility and funding.
Mission TV.
Think of it like Twitch, the game streaming platform. But instead of streaming video games, users stream their real-world mission progress live.
Okay. Like what kind of progress?
Could be anything related to the mission. Maybe it's a team doing crowdsourced investigation or deploying a response to some event identified using the platform's geomapping tools, or even a community building project. It's live action.
So instead of just, tweeting angrily about a problem,
You're watching, or even participating in, a coordinated, funded response unfolding in real time. Social change becomes transparent, engaging, almost like entertainment, but with real stakes.
and viewers can interact, fund it.
Yeah, that's key. Viewers aren't passive. They can tip the streamers, directly fund the mission's goals, and the platform's tools make it easy for them to actually join the effort, get organized, and participate. It channels that scattered online attention into focused, funded, real-world action.
Okay, that's a compelling vision. But the historian in me has to ask, major social changes, real shifts in power, civil rights, labor movements, suffrage, they almost always involve people stepping outside the golden cage, right? They involve civil disobedience, protest, risking arrest, challenging the legal boundaries directly. Can purely legal aggregation, however clever, really achieve that kind of fundamental change?
That's a really important challenge, and the sources do acknowledge that historical reality. Often, physical confrontation or breaking unjust laws was the necessary path.
So why would this be different?
The argument is that we're in a different technological era. Power today isn't just about physical presence or disruption in the same way. It's increasingly about coordinated attention and the ability to scale action frictionlessly. Past movements needed physical proximity to build critical mass. Today, you can potentially achieve an equivalent, or even greater, institutional weight through hyper-coordinated digital action, amplified attention, and bundled resources. Cloud Atlas OS aims to be that legal lockpick, using the system's own rules, amplified by technology, to create undeniable pressure and coordinate solutions at scale.
So it's shifting the battleground from physical defiance to coordinated informational and organizational weight.
Something like that, yeah. Leveraging connectivity itself is the force multiplier.
All right, if this platform becomes as powerful as envisioned, centralizing all this citizen action, that brings up the big, obvious question. How do you stop it from becoming the next golden cage? What prevents the platform itself from being captured, censored, turning into a tool for control, maybe even a plutocracy run by whoever funds the biggest missions?
That is the critical question. If the platform itself can be captured, the whole project fails. So the anti-capture mechanisms aren't just features, they're baked into the fundamental design.
And looking at the sources, there seem to be some really unusual design choices here, very different from standard tech platforms or even most DAOs.
Absolutely. There are 3 core constraints. First, no tokens.
No crypto tokens for governance. That's rare in the decentralized space.
Deliberately so. They want to avoid plutocracy, a situation where having more money, more tokens means you have more voting power and can effectively buy control of the platform's direction. So no one token, one vote.
Okay, no plutocracy. What's next?
Second, foundation ownership. The platform isn't owned by a corporation or shareholders. It's held by an open source foundation structured like, say, the Linux Foundation or the Wikimedia Foundation.
Meaning no single entity can own it or sell it or shut it down for profit.
Precisely. It's designed to be uncapturable infrastructure, a public good.
All right, and the third constraint sounds like the most philosophically radical one. It's about consensus, not just majority rule.
Yes, and this is maybe the most defining feature. Success isn't about getting 51% agreement. Any major action, any mission, must adhere to what they call the Fuller principle, based on Buckminster Fuller's ideas.
The Fuller principle, remind me.
The core test is, does this proposed action work for 100% of humanity? And crucially, does it do so without causing ecological harm or disadvantaging anyone?
100%. No disadvantage to anyone. That sounds incredibly difficult. Impossible, maybe.
It's an extremely high bar. If a proposed mission fails that test, if it creates losers, if it's zero-sum, then there's no consensus under the platform's rules, and that specific mission can't proceed as designed. It has to be rethought.
So wait, how does that work in practice? If someone proposes something politically charged, say banning abortion or banning guns, clearly things that disadvantage large groups, does the platform just say no? Or does it do something else?
It acts as a forcing function. It doesn't just veto. It forces the participants back to the drawing board. Take those examples. A mission to ban abortion fails the 100% test because it disadvantages women seeking health care. A mission to ban all guns fails because it disadvantages law-abiding gun owners. The platform essentially says, this isn't a solution that works for everyone. Go find one that does.
It forces iteration. Towards what?
Towards positive-sum solutions. It compels users to look beyond the binary political fight, which always leaves roughly half the people unhappy, and find a higher-level resolution that actually benefits everyone involved.
So for something like abortion, what would a 100% solution even look like according to this model?
The platform would guide the consensus process towards things like universal access to contraception, comprehensive sex education, robust economic security for families, support for adoption, and preserving free choice components that address the underlying issues and improve well-being for everyone, regardless of their moral stance on abortion itself.
Wow. Okay, so the platform isn't just a neutral tool. It actively engineers the search for these non-zero-sum outcomes by making traditional compromise impossible. It's aiming for post-government governance.
That's a good way to put it. It literally designs compromise out of the equation for major initiatives, forcing a search for genuine solutions. And every step identifying a problem, brainstorming, finding consensus, taking action via Mission TV is designed to be transparent and legal.
And adaptable too, right? You mentioned the foundation model allowing updates.
Yeah, unlike rigid government structures, because it's software run by an open source foundation, it can continuously update, fix bugs, adapt to new challenges. It's designed for self-correction.
That's a fundamentally different approach. It really turns the whole idea of power on its head.
That's the core idea, I think. Traditional systems often consolidate power and operate for maybe 51% if you're lucky. Cloud Atlas OS is designed with this radical constraint: operate for 100% or don't operate at all on that specific mission. It's a blueprint for distributing power not through force or wealth, but through coordinated, transparent, scalable legal action aimed at universally beneficial outcomes.
Shifting power from domination to coordination. Turning the limitations of the golden cage into the building blocks for something potentially better, more effective.
That seems to be the ambition. The sources indicate the foundation is set up, the core design is locked in, and they're moving towards public deployment. It's about connecting all those scattered pieces of legal action so people can finally see a pathway out of gridlock that doesn't require violence or asking permission.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as we wrap up this deep dive. If the argument holds that traditional systems are inherently limited because they settle for 51% solutions, is this kind of radical 100% consensus constraint actually necessary to achieve true, large-scale decentralized cooperation? Is our very ability to compromise sometimes the thing holding us back from solving the really big systemic problems?
Definitely something to think about. And for anyone wanting to follow the project's development, the sources mention the website worldpeaceenginelabs.org.
Fascinating stuff. We'll catch you next time for the deep dive.